everyone. Once again, welcome to ghprepscholar. This was one of the most requested videos in the comment sections that, hey, I don't know how through the emails or through the contacts you guys reached out to me, letting me know that, hey, my teacher doesn't know how to go through the process, or my counselor doesn't know how to go through the process. Or can you make a video describing how like a typical counselor might go through the process? Like, who is a counselor? How does my teacher go through and fill in their parts? Like, how do they waive the application fee for me, like for the Common App and stuff? So in this video, we're going to do a quick one going through this. So personally, for me, I was grateful that my teachers had done this in the past before, so they were easily able to go through this. But I coordinated with like one of my teachers, like my high school teachers, and then they basically showed me a typical example of what they do to go through the process. So the thing was, I created like a dummy email for like assuming a teacher and what like a teacher would go through. So in this one, as you can see, this is like our ghprepscholar email that we used to create our account, and then basically we've filled out every other part, and basically here we're doing is we're inviting the counselor or the recommenders. So I'm just going to go through the instance for a counselor, because I feel like the counselor one is the most detailed part, and then if you're able to go through it for a counselor, you should be able to do it for the teacher, and or any other recommender should be able to go through it. I think for the other recommenders, it's fairly easy. The other recommenders is fairly easy. The teachers is a bit like more complex, and the counselor one is the most complex. But now I know in most Ghanaian high schools, that's what I've already said in my other videos, your counselor can qualify, one of your teachers can qualify as your counselor, because I know in most high schools in Ghana, like we really don't have designated counselors. So it's either your headmaster can qualify or one of your teachers can qualify as your counselor as well. So you basically just have to select any one of them that you can sit with them. If in case it's very hard for them, you can sit with them and then actually walk with them through the process of them filling it for you and submitting it for you. Or if you're a counselor or teacher yourself, you can also watch this and basically walk through the process. So this is like an example of me as a student. Here on my account, I have invited one of my recommenders. So basically, this was my counselor, one of my recommenders. You have to invite your parents, you have to invite teachers. Mostly you invite one counselor, normally two required teachers, and then other ones. But basically, like this example should work for a teacher or a counselor or other recommenders. In fact, the counselor one is the most detailed one. So I invited my counselor, and so basically by inviting my counselor and submitting my counselor's email, what it will get that your counselor will receive an email. This is the counselor's email account, like, so hello Susan, this student has requested for your support. And so basically your counselor in this case, because I've already created this process, your counselor in this case, if it's the first time, your counselor will basically create an account himself or herself and then go through the process. But if you already created an account or has worked with other students in the past, they just need to sign in. So this will be the sign-in scenario for your counselor. So when your counselor first signs in or creates their account, what will happen is that they will first have to put in their personal, in the school's details. Like this one, I use Wesley Girls. Like obviously I didn't go to Wesley Girls, but like I'm using a very simple detail. And basically what they will do is that like if they had to make any adjustments, they will put in the details there. But if they didn't, they don't have to put in anything there as well. It's very optional. And then like they can put in a school profile. A school profile is normally like sort of a PDF or like sort of something that describes the school, like how it was founded, like what kind of activities go on in the school, like the class sizes, maybe what kind of activities go on there, what was the graduating class look like. It kind of like it gives a comprehensive nature of the school. But if the school doesn't have a school profile, it's fine. But basically your counselor or most teachers in the school, or like that's why for your counselor you have to pick like a teacher who, that's either your headmaster. That's why you normally pick your headmaster if you don't have a counselor, or you pick like a teacher in the school that you feel like really knows a lot more about the school or can ask other people to know about the school. If they don't have answers to, feel free, they can leave it blank. So like for the students particular class, graduating class size, they can put this one there. They can look at the percentage which are attending this. If they don't have it, they can just leave them blank. Latino, how many of these students are this, how many students are non-US citizens. Let's say it's a Ghanaian high school, most likely probably 99-100% of them are non-US citizens. You can just fill in the school setting. Is in an urban area, suburban, rural, like do they take any of these classes? Is the student classes taken on a block schedule? So basically when classes are taken on a block schedule, basically it means that like they take it and then they rotate a certain amount of classes in a day. Like let's say they take physics on Mondays and Wednesdays, chemistry on Tuesdays, Fridays, Thursdays, something like that. And then throughout the semester they take it. So something like that. So it's either yes or no. and then what's the graduation date for the students. Like all this, your counselor should know. Is a school located outside the US? Yes, for most people. Do they have AP now? Do they do complete the students' academic ratings on Common App School reports? This one will be yes, because like for the students, which we'll come to later, but like when your counselor or the teacher creates the account for the first time, this is kind of the questions they will answer. Does your school require students to perform volunteer service? No. So basically now this is where class rank, you say, okay, so for the students in your school, how did they report class rank? Do they have like exact class rank? Let's say it was like for every student in your school, for every class, let's say the senior class, do they have like who was first, second, third, fourth, fifth? Or like do you have this at like say top 10% students? This student was in the top 20%, top 30, or you guys don't have any ranking, you guys don't rank students. So basically, and you guys have your ranking, is it weighted or unweighted? Most likely is unweighted. And then start date of the graduating class, that's the students is going to take care of. What time did they start going to school, like start freshman year, and what time did they graduate? And so GPA schedule for the profile you're setting up. Do you guys report this is their GPA? Most high schools don't have GPA, but if they do, they can have it. You can say yes, but then probably no. And then transcript, basically saying that our courses listed on the transcript. I think for most Ghanaian high schools, courses are on the transcript, so you can say yes. And then our college, is the WASI score included with or visible on the transcript. Most schools don't have the WASI score included on the transcript. It's basically up to your Form 3 first term or second term results, and then you write your WASI, and then you have your WASI certificate or WASI results also different. So most people don't have the WASI on their transcript, so no. And then indicate the most recent grade. So what is the last one? Is it like it depends. Some schools like this, for my school for instance, for in our third year we never wrote like first term exams or second term exams. We like second year, third term, that was it. In third year we never wrote any exams again. It was straight away WASI. So it depends on you. Or basically maybe by the time the student was applying for the school, like maybe the student was still in school, like let's say the student was in the final year when they were applying, which means that maybe the student is in their final junior year grade, but maybe like they will submit their third year first term grades later on. So you're basically telling the school, per the transcript you might submit for the student, what is the last term or last like grades that are on the transcript. You get it? So pretty much that's it. And then this one is international school. What's the bridge? Most schools English, and this is international students. Is promotion between your educational system based on leaving exams? Yes, because most Ghanaian high schools you can only promote to university or something. You have to write a leaving examination, which is the WASI, which is by the WAEC board. Exactly here. So yes. And then indicates the marking or grading scale used on your school. So some schools you need to get 90 to 100%. I know for Wesley Girls 90 to 100% that you get an A, and then a B is whatever. But for some schools 80 to 100% is an A. For some schools 75 to 100 is an A. But that one you know, like the counselor knows. So basically, as you're walking through with your counselor, so you can show them and explain this to them, and then you can put everything there. This is dependent from school to school, and then this is basically they just affirm, check boxes, and then agree. So now after they do that, and after they've agreed to all this, it will go to their students. So basically, they can click on the student, in this case, which will be here, and then there will be the student info. It will show all the schools that the student is applying to. Over here, we can see that the student's info is right here, basically telling you. It will show to them on the counselor side. They can basically see what parts, like let's say for me, for instance, in my application as ghprepscholar, have I completed all the parts that I'm supposed to complete? If it's complete, so that your counselor or your teacher can also like help remind you that, oh hey, you have to like complete these parts or this part. So now this is where the work comes. So your school reports, as I said again, your class rank, is it like exact, like was the student first, second, third at the end of their whole like 3 years or whatever high school years? What was the student's rank? Was he like a top 10% student, top 20, top 1%, top 10%? That's decile. And then mostly they say exact, like let's say of 300 seniors or 300 final year students that are graduating, the student was fifth overall over all the 3 years or whatever. Like, or if there is none like that, if you guys don't rank, it's fine too. You can say rank, but I know every school knows it, like has whether they rank or not. So, and then if it was this, I was in the top 10, top 20, top 30, top 40, top 50, up to top 100. Like basically top 10% means, obviously in that order. So that makes sense. And then whether it's unweighted, most likely it's unweighted, and then start and end date. And then if the student has a GPA, you can basically say whether if they had a GPA, you can basically list their GPA, and then mostly will be on a 4.0 scale. if it is, but mostly if they don't, it's okay. Most don't have it. And then the curriculum, basically, you can just say in comparison with other college preparatory students at your school, the applicants course selection is you can basically say it depends on your school. Because some people's school they do college A level, some people just have WASI. So basically, your counselor can say compared to other students, let's say your school somehow they feel like science students are better than art. I don't know. So, but honestly, if you feel like everybody takes the same level, nobody takes any special classes or anything, then you can say the students' course is basically average or demanding. Like, unless like some people are taking higher levels, and you can just say most demanding or whatever, but you can just say demanding or average, depending. And then does the applicant an IB diploma candidate? Probably no. I don't think there's most IB in Ghana. There could be at the international schools. The advanced Cambridge one too at some international schools, but most public schools in Ghana no. AP capstone diploma candidates, most Ghana high schools probably no. So then they fill it and continue, and then now they can give the ratings. Now this is basically like your teacher or your counselor, whoever, like they know these answers. So compared to other students in their senior year class, how would you rate the applicants in terms of academic achievement, whether they are average, below average, whatever? This is personal subjective answers. They can fill up, and then like this one, we all know how we can go about it. How do you rate a student overall? This is something your teacher, your counselor, your recommender can do for you. That's I can do. But yeah, and then this is where only your counselor probably upload your transcript. So they will upload a transcript. You see the number of official transcript they are uploading for you. Current courses listed probably yes. The entrance examination, no, most people will not have a college entrance examination, no, and then you upload it. The transcript, make sure they upload the correct transcript and everything. And then they show it, and then you recommend the students. Probably you should be strongly and enthusiastically, honestly, but it once again depends on your teacher and your counselor. I can't do that. And then international school, basically, it's like okay, most likely will be English for Ghanaians. Is promotion within your educational system? Yes, if we've talked about this already, because this is WASI. Have the applicant already taken it? Most of you probably would have already taken a WASI. You South Africa can say yes. If you've not yet taken it, you can still say no. If it's yes, you can fill it. I think for WASI it's mostly 80 to 100 is an A, and then you can go in that order. They can review and submit for you. And now, if you filled in an early decision school, your teacher is your counselor or your teacher. Mostly your counselor is supposed to agree to this. This early decision agreement, only your counselor and your parents will have to sign to it. So they can basically just say yes and sign and put the date there and then basically submit for that. And then basically, this is the most important. Now they can submit that one. And then for the fee waiver, this is the one that is very important to me, because you remember when we're filling our common app, this was the one that I said that if your counselor can vouch for you that, paying the common app fees to all the schools you are applying to will present a burden. When you say your counselor can present something for you, this is what your counselor can do. So basically, they would literally send this option to your counselor, basically saying that, hey, this student has indicated on their common app that they believe they meet the eligibility requirements for a common app fee waiver. To your best of your knowledge, do you believe the student is eligible? And then your counselor can say yes. Like obviously most public high school students, your counselor should be able to say yes for you. And so once they say yes, and then they don't even need to write anything. But once they just say yes, they can submit it. And basically now when you go on your account, all your school, all your application fees for review and submit, you wouldn't have to pay anything. It will waive everything for you. So that's the good thing. So then they can hit submit. And now your counselor and your teacher can write their recommendation. So basically, they can write their recommendation for you. You can submit it only one time. How long have you known the student? They can say, okay, I've known him since all of high school, and maybe I was his counselor, and also maybe his teacher or his PE teacher, or I was his counselor and I was his this. So what's the first words that come to your mind when you describe the student? This is based on a counselor. This is like things I can't talk to. Your counselor has to write them for you. But sometimes too, I know in a Ghanaian student context or even other schools, like your counselors, I know some of them will not write the best thing, or some of them will be like, you know what, write up something that you want to, it even happens here for everything. Like they'll tell you, write up something that you want me to write, and then I'll like go through it and like polish it and like submit it for you. So that's why as a student too, if you like, write your counselor what a recommendation, like while you're waiting for these things, write a probable counselor and teacher recommendations there, so that just in case your counselor or your teacher tells you that, hey, write something up because it's normal, it happens. They can tell you, hey, write something up and I'll submit for you, or write something up and I'll polish it or something. What do you want me to write for them? Give me an example of what you want me to write, because sometimes they are dealing with a lot of students and things. So exactly. That's why I said, first of all, pick someone, a teacher or a counselor that is very close to you, that knows you a bit more. But in case you can't do that, write up something that you feel like would be a very good thing to submit for you so that they can easily submit it. Because for some counselors and teachers, if you just leave them to write anything for you, it will not be something worthwhile sending. And we all know this. So it's totally fine. And so when you're in school too, as a student, you need to make sure that you're on good terms with your teacher and counselors. Do things so that when they are writing, they can write something for you so that you feel more, you look more special. So this is basically, as I said, or you can either upload it or they can write in 1,000 words or something and provided that they should be sending an evaluation. And then an optional report is optional, so they probably don't have to do it. Mid-year, final year report about after submitting the initial school report form. That means if they've submitted like your transcript and your WASI, or they've submitted your transcript but you're still in your final year and you have to still do results or do your WASI, they can do it after, but it's optional. And then optional report 2, or you can do the optional report 2 in case they made a mistake with your first report. Let's say they submitted it happened to one of the students, like they submitted a wrong transcript, or the transcript, your grades changed or something, they need to resubmit stuff, they can do it, take a chance to do it. And then mid-year report and final report. Sometimes some schools will request mid-year report or final reports, but maybe you don't have it because your school doesn't have it. Like basically you submitted everything there is to submit. You just have to email the school saying that that's all there is to submit, and you guys don't do mid-year reports and final reports. Do you get it? So mid-year reports and final reports is in a scenario where, okay, you are still in your final year, but you've applied to the school. But basically, the school needs to know that, let's say, now you're in your final year second term. They just want to now see your final year first term results, just to make sure that, okay, you're still on track. But normally, most of you are already done with school, so the transcript you submit has everything already. There's nothing more to submit. So then the final report will just be the same transcript, but this time you also attach your WASI results to the transcript, so that it becomes like a 2 kind of transcript. Your counselor will just submit it for you. So basically that's the mid-year report, and then that's the final report. And then when they basically fill out all these other parts, these other options will open for them and they can submit it for you. And in that case, that's what happens for your counselor. So your counselor even just submits all the report, but for the teachers, your teachers will not have to do all these reports. Your teachers will just have to do the recommendation. Honestly, your teachers and the other recommenders will basically do the recommendation and then the evaluation. That's basically like, oh, okay, compared to other students, how was he academically, how was he in extracurricular, how was he, like, you know, that thing I literally said this part here, was it ratings. Your teachers will basically just do the ratings and the recommendations. So your counselor one is the most. So that's why I did this counselor one. So basically your teacher will basically just do this and then submit a recommendation letter for you. That's it. So your counselor does more. So this is it, guys. Very simple, as I showed you guys. Very simple, very easy to do. And let me know if you guys want me to do more videos in particular about anything as well. And these are things that's very important. So once you watch this, start, as I said, start getting your documents and everything quite early to be able to do the process. But it's fairly easy, and I think it's very doable. So hey, have a good one. And if you guys have any questions, shoot it down in the comments. Reach out at ghprepscholar@gmail.com. Let me know what you guys want, and then hey, stay tuned.